Mr. Donald, are you ready to share your work? Hello.
So thank you very much, Prof. My network is not very great.
I will share your presentation. Okay, I will share your presentation. Okay, so everybody can see the presentation. Okay, this one is the work by Mr. Donald. Okay, so this is his topic. Okay, model of enhancing career advancement through lifelong learning. Okay, so this case is a little bit different from the Dr. Humphrey, because Dr. Humphrey focused on the institution, Rome Business School. But this one is the dissertation that focus on the personal life, personal success of the Mr. Donald. So okay, I would like you to present in this one. Okay, let's make it in 15 minutes.
I don't know, is that the updated one, or I could try and share my own?
Okay, if you have your own, okay, I will give you.
Oh, don't worry. Let me work with that. Let me work with that pending.
Okay.
All right. 15 minutes. Good afternoon from Nigeria. My name is Donald Okeke, a registered civil engineer. I'm presenting a topic. I'm presenting my thesis, which is basically my life, my personal story. So it's the model of enhancing career advancement through lifelong learning. The summary of the thesis basically is just my background has been in engineering, then project management. So it was a natural progression from engineering, because I handled projects, into core project management. So we just realized that project management basically is a rapidly evolving field. It's not just only project management, but basically almost any current field, because of technology. May I go on?
Okay, you can continue.
So the summary is just that lifelong learning basically encompasses everything from formal education to professional certifications to experiential learning. That means learning from experience. So that's why I'm talking about my own personal story. So the model just examines my career experiences and basically my dedication to lifelong learning through professional development, international study tours, conferences, mentoring, and all of that. Next slide, please. So this is just giving you a basically summary of who I am. Prof, please, next slide. I'm married, Nigerian, born this. Now this my educational qualification. Did my first degree in Nnamdi Azikiwe University in civil engineering, diversified a little bit into information technology, spent a couple of years doing IT, made a little branch off because the world was evolving, going digital and all of that. So there was need to work with softwares and all of that. So I did a little bit of IT, then went back to school, with Rome Business School in Rome, courtesy of Dr. Humphrey. Did my master's in project management, got another one from Valencia International University in Spain, and currently I'm doing my PhD with Bodhisattva University. Now that was actually courtesy of the Thailand study tour that we did. Now, these are just pictures of study tours and conferences I have attended that basically has helped me achieve the growth I have currently achieved. So on the top left corner, that is a conference we attended for the Nigerian Institution of Project Managers of Nigeria. They basically oversee everything project management in Nigeria. So if you must practice as a project manager, you have to get involved. So they do yearly trainings and all of that, just basically to make sure that everybody who is working in the field of project management basically learn to upskill themselves. The picture on the far right now is a study tour in Rome. That was where we had a visit with the embassy, just basically sharing idea. The bottom, you can see me and Professor Pradit and Dr. Humphrey. They were the ones that were also instrumental in getting me to come on board this program, share my own experience, because when they started, I was like, is it possible and all of that? So I've been to Rwanda, been to a couple of other places, just basically learning how best practices are done in different climes. These are still conferences I've attended. That's me doing my master's graduation in Rome, somewhere in the middle. The picture in the middle is one of the projects I completed in Afans. It's a one-story educational complex. That's a farm we visited in Thailand. Now, basically what I just realized in all of these study tours we've gone to, you'll see, even though when we came to Thailand, it was more agric than, but I realized that even in agriculture and in other, basically almost any field, you see them as projects. Projects are just simple endeavors that have a specific start time and end time with unique products. So when we went to the Kubota farms, we saw the rice, we saw the farm, the chicken, the poultry, and I had to interact with them. How were we able to get all of this? So the lessons I learned, I got from all of these study tours, we came back to Nigeria and helped implement in some of the activities we do and all of that. Prof, next slide. Oh, you said 15 minutes. So these are just my working experience. So I've been working for close over 2 decades, started in 2004. First of all, once you graduate, I graduated in 2002. You're expected to do your mandatory NYSC, that's serve your country for 1 year. After that, I started working as a civil engineer. So I did that for I think about 2 years, from 2004 to 2006, then moved into operations where I did a little bit of dredging, but because we had a little bit of that's something I'll talk about when we talk about the Nigerian environment. The contract ended. Then I moved back to another organization where I became a project engineer first, then a project manager. Grew up into becoming an operations manager and a principal resident engineer. Then currently where I'm working, I started out as a chief resident engineer, became a portfolio manager. Then currently I'm now a director in the organization. It's called Best Crest International. Next slide, please. So these are just some projects we've been involved in. Now, let me just throw this out there. Currently I'm doing project management, but more in the consultancy aspect. That means I'm not handling core construction any longer. So we oversee contractors who do the actual work. So our job more is stakeholder management, reporting, ensuring quality assurances are done, seeing how we could improve the contracting organizations, processes, and all of that. So we have the one I'm currently working on is the security fence for the Victor Atta International Airport in Akwa Ibom State, where we're expected to fence out the operational area, which is which covers the terminals, the runway, the taxiways, and all of that, before you have the main area. Now, just to give you an instance into how the study tours basically helped us. When we're in Thailand, we went to an organization and we opened up conversations, thanks to Professor Pradit, on how one could look at maybe procuring the fence materials from them. Next slide, please. So just basically projects that we've covered. All right, these are some projects we've been involved in. The pictures on the right middle is was an interesting project. It's like the first of its kind. So I kind of referenced 2 or 3 projects here that I'll just briefly talk about. One of them is, the one I'm talking about is a cable bridge. It's 80 meters length. The first of its kind in the general South region of Nigeria. It was handled by a Chinese company. So courtesy of all of these ones, I have interfaced with Chinese companies, Lebanese companies, Syrian companies, German companies. So I have a little bit of international experience working with diverse teams and all of that. So, okay, the pictures on the left-hand side, that's actually the fence area. So these are just basically pictures of me on the walk. The picture in the middle, underneath walk, part of my project team. So, courtesy of my progression, I started out, first of all, having to answer to people. Then I grew up to handling a team of 2-3 persons, to my largest team where I handled up to about 100 and something workers, dropped a little bit. So currently, because I'm doing this current organization I'm working in, it's a startup organization, started with about 3 persons where I was leading the team. Now we have about 20 something persons handling over 9 different projects for the Akwa Ibom state government currently. Next slide, please, Prof. So like I said, these are just projects. Okay, so this is the Economy-Man flyover. It's a 1 kilometer dual carriage handled by Julius Berger. We were the consultants on it. So we just basically improved their processes. So all of these pictures, all of these projects are verifiable on the net. If you just Google them, you will see them. And these 2 bridges that I was talking about have been completed and commissioned as at today. So the picture on the left of the bridge is the project team, and in the middle is the current commissioner for Works and Fire Services. And the people on the side are myself and a couple of the other directors. So it was like after this project that I got invited to sit on the board of the organization as director of projects. The pictures on at the bottom is the bottom left is the 80-meter cable bridge I was talking about. The one just immediately after it is the Uyo-Ikotekpene Road. That's just the roundabout that spans all the way to the 4 points. So it's basically linking two major cities in Akwa Ibom State. So Akwa Ibom State is a state in the south region of Nigeria. Next slide, please. Yeah, so like I said, some projects I've handled, then professional affiliations. So courtesy of my growth, I started out because for you to say you're an engineer, you need to be registered. That means you must do pupillage of 4 years under a registered engineer. Under a registered engineer, then you get registered with the Council for Regulation of Engineering. So I'm registered with them. Now, courtesy of my growth and becoming a thought leader, I have grown from membership all the way to becoming fellows of the various professional bodies I'm involved in. So I'm a fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. I'm a fellow of a subset, which is the Institution of Civil Engineers of Nigeria, Nigerian Institution of Civil Engineers. Then I have a further subset for highway is I became a fellow of that body. And because I'm doing project management, I'm also a fellow there, and I diversified into management. So I'm a fellow of a couple of all these organizations. So for me, because I'm looking at career progression, these are just ways to highlight growth from being a pupil engineer all the way, growing through the ranks till you become a director and a thought leader in your field, basically. Next slide, Prof. So affiliations, like I said, member of a couple of international bodies, just to ensure that best practices are followed at any point in time on any project I'm involved. So a member of the Canadian Society of Civil Engineers, Project Management Institute, American Society of Engineers, then all the ones in Nigeria. Prof, next slide, please. Yeah, so this is what I was saying about being awards I've received and being thought leaders. The picture in the middle bottom is me doing some mentoring program in my organization. So when one is looking at career advancement, you start out basically at the bottom of the ladder, and to determine how well you've grown, becoming a thought leader basically means you've reached the peak of your career. So all of the fellowship awards, you don't just apply for them. You have to submit documentations, reports that is vetted by a body of fellows. That is vetted by a body of fellows just to ensure that you have not only proved that you have grown through the ranks and that you are not operating in that field. So the essence of being a thought leader is just to say, right, we have grown through our career and we've basically gotten to the peak of our career. Next slide, Prof, please. So those are just pictures of my growth and all of that. Now, something that it's also very important, because in as much as one is talking about work and all of that, there's something that I'll talk about when we come to the philosophy of my model is work-life balance. It's important not just only to focus on work. You have to do some level of give back. That means mentoring, that means charity works, that means, so these are pictures of the one where I'm on a quad bike was a conference I went to in Rwanda. So we do a little bit of work, study, and play to relax and make sure body, soul, and spirit are whole. I forgot to put the picture when I went to the just to learn how it feels like. So on the left and around are just pictures basically of us doing give backs. We went to an orphanage home. The one at the bottom was a correctional facility for young children. We just went to go and share our stories with them as a way of encouraging them that despite the fact that they seem to be in homes right now, does not mean that's going to be the end of life. So that we are coming to tell them that life is possible and as not just to only talk. So that's me also addressing an orphanage. So next slide, please. So this is just giving back, doing some work-life balance. So talking about lifelong learning, much time. So I'm discussing the whole thesis as at a blow. So we are going to look at the introduction, significance of the study, why I chose to look at this, then lifelong learning. Next slide, Prof. Lifelong learning, looking at the concept of career advancement, because that's the focus, the relationship between it. Next slide, Prof. We're also going to be looking at project management, because that was my view. Next slide, Prof.
This is under work areas. Is it the philosophy of the university?
Now, my no, next slide, Prof. These are just my my content. I'm trying to do that. Keep going, sir. This is just content page. Content page. Keep going, sir. Yes, this is just doing about the background of the study and all of that. So I'm just saying project management has evolved massively from when we started to current, and the role of a project manager basically has changed, has evolved. Next slide, Prof. So we are just only saying that it's important for people to stay current balance is to continually upskill themselves. Now, the significance, the essence of doing this is, first, it contributes to the existing body of knowledge on career development and project management by just looking at the relationship between lifelong learning and career advancement. Then, secondly, it provides insight for project managers who wish to enhance their prospects through continuous learning. Like I said, not only through formal education. That means I go for conferences, I do study tours, because what I learned from my master's program under Rome Business School was, next slide, Prof, was the fact that in as much as you are doing study tours, you are learning. in as much as you are going to different conferences, you are learning. So there's a popular axiom that says, in the next 20 years, I will be who I am, except for the people I've met, the books I've read, and the places I have been to. So at every point in time, you are just speaking something. Now, another significance is the fact that it would help organizations define or design strategies to support lifelong learning. Because a challenge I had was I didn't have the support system. It was majorly personal effort that pushed me. So finally, we're just looking at proactive approaches. So the significance is anybody who wishes to advance their career, who is just starting up in life, can use this as a template in which one could grow through the ranks. So I learned on the job, and I'm doing this, one. Then two, it also acts as for people who are in other fields, who are career people or professionals, they can domicile this, because I have learned, courtesy of my travels, that you could pick something from somewhere and domicile it to suit your local environment. Next slide, Prof. So it becomes easy for you to pick this, even though my career was in project management and engineering, to use it to do medicine or to do law or to do something else, as long as you are taking a career path in it. That means you are working in an organization. So for me, the personal interest in doing this was because I reflected on this. I got interested in pursuing a PhD program thanks to...
Sorry, sir. Dr. Budit, maybe jump to the chapter 3.
Chapter 3, okay.
Because
Okay.
we hear the best data.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
right,
I would make more faster, okay, and then you can highlight some points, okay.
Okay. So you could just keep all of these ones. It's just talking about lifelong learning, career advancement, just the theoretical part of it, the concepts of it. We are looking at the reasons why career advancement is going. So just keep going, Prof. I'll just be talking. So one key thing, like I said, is project management in Nigeria is just pretty unique in the sense that it basically breaks the back on some of the things we are used to, such as that project is just start and finish. So it's evolved beyond that. There are various terminologies, various frameworks involved in project management, which have just been evolving over time. So currently people are talking agile, which means your scope might not be 100% defined when you jump into a project. Just keep going, Prof. Agile, where things are not. So before, it used to be traditional. That means it follows specific steps. Now in Agile, you are talking about reiterative. You start a project, midway you realize that, oh, it's not meeting the current challenges thanks to COVID and all of that, and thanks to Bodhisra University, which is saying that educational system too is evolving. So we'll just realize that we can keep going front and back. So by the time I start a project, I know my endpoint is that I want to graduate, like Prof is doing with us. Normally in a traditional university, we would go do lots of studies, then start doing but now we're starting like from the end and going back to the beginning. The whole idea is just to keep evolving the process, just so that we stay relevant and all of that. Just skip chapter 1 and chapter 2. I've basically talked about it in my introduction. And so in my chapter 2, I just broke it down into very specific steps. My early years, when I was doing my pupillage, I broke it down into when I started my certifications, that's professional growth and continuous development, growing into middle management. By the time I became PMP certified, from there, I moved into when I became senior management and started getting recognized. I now started a mentoring framework where I currently teach people who are hoping to get certified with the Project Management Institute as project management professional. So we've established a framework for them where they have to continually learn just to get better. So this is my chapter 3. So first of all, like I talked about in the beginning, challenges I experienced majorly was time management, the financial investment, because like I said, I did most of these things from my own pocket. So it was not very easy. So these were just challenges. Next slide, just challenges. And I realized the importance of staying updated. Now, the successes I experienced, courtesy of this, was professional growth. So growing, like I said, growing from entry level all the way to becoming a director in an organization. So over a space of approximately almost every 4 years, I seem to have gotten a jump. Started my first salary from like 13,000, earning up to almost about 500,000, all in Naira. So it has also helped me build a network of people that have brought me to this level. Like I said, it's courtesy of my Rome Business School and Thailand visit that I met Professor Pradit and Dr. Humphrey that has gotten me here. Lessons I've learned over my career is the value of mentorship. That means being mentored and learning to mentor people, the importance of networking, and the fact that for one to stay current, next slide, please. For one to stay current, one needs to continually upskill oneself. Now, a limitation and future direction for others on this call is the fact that, first of all, this thesis is based on my personal story. So it might not be the same for somebody else. It might not be the same because I am based in Nigeria. Somebody who might be in the US or in Australia might have slightly different viewpoints, but it's just so somebody else could decide to now look at exploring other people and looking at and all of that. So it's just saying that this is not all of it. Other persons might want to, next slide, please. Other persons might want to just take up and continue to improve. Oh boy, I've talked a lot. Sorry, I'm exceeding my 15 minutes. So I'll just rush. Courtesy of this, I just realized that no, I think I should use my own slide here now.
Okay, you can provide your idea, okay, and then you can make a change later on.
Yes. So just saying this, my success factors, I was able to itemize about 9 of them. 1 was commitment to lifelong learning. 2 was strategic professional development. 3 was mentorship and networking, the fact that I was able to interface with people. 4 was having a proactive career management. Then resilience, being able to adapt. Another success factor I experienced that helped me get to this point was the fact that I had global perspective and cultural awareness, courtesy of the travels, leadership and mentoring, innovation and continuous improvement. And like I said, so talking about commitment to lifelong learning, earning my various certifications, that's my PMP, the MCTS and all of that, helped me move from one leadership role to the other. So I moved from being a project engineer to a project manager, from a project manager to a program manager, from a project manager to the chief resident engineer, from there to being a portfolio manager for the Akwa Ibom State government, then currently being a director. So it's courtesy of all of the certifications and my formal education. So like I said, I have a master's degree or 2 master's degree in project management. And by the grace of God, now I'm going to maybe have a PhD in business administration. I'm also pursuing a doctorate in business administration. That means the professional aspect of a PhD too, also in business administration. This is just looking at a commitment to lifelong learning. Now, another success factor was the fact of I basically had to look at strategic professional development. So early on in my career, I made the deliberate effort. I set career paths. I set career milestones for myself so that I could track my progress. I could track my progress as I was moving up the career. So aligning my professional development with what was trending in the industry